My last name is Schnell, and in German that means fast or quick. So that's where I got my name from, QUIX. Me and my family were growing up, we were all raised in a Christian home. And my dad originally worked for a really big bicycle company called Avanti. Well, Shepherd Industries was cool, and their main product was Avanti bike. Me and my wife, we both Christians, and we go to church. We actually go to Hillsong, LA. As I said, I was raised in a Christian home where like nobody smoked. My parents barely drank alcohol. You know, I've had my fair share of, people asking me like, oh, do you want to drink? Do you want to have some, drugs and whatnot? This is so confusing. My best friend's dad is my wife's uncle, who actually married us.
Wow.
So it's like a whole circle thing.
Hi, so I'm here with QUIX.
What's up?
So glad that you like my interviews. This really means a lot.
I need to put out on the record that I actually hit you up to do this. So I didn't even know if you know anything about me, but I just want to like chat and hang out.
I'm so down.
I don't know, see everybody on there to know a little bit more about me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm here for. So exactly. I'm so glad.
And this is the perfect way to do it on the sidewalk, right?
So you were born in New Zealand, right?
New Zealand, yes, in Auckland. And I am the age of 22 currently, about to turn 23.
Damn, we're the same age.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang, nice.
So were your parents born there as well?
Yep, they were born kind of halfway, kind of in the middle of the North Island, kind of south middle North Island, called Palmerston North.
Yeah.
Little like small town. And when they got out of like uni and college and stuff, they moved up to Auckland and had a family. That's where I come in. Yeah.
So all of your family lives there. Do you have like generations back, or?
I really don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, my last name is Schnell.
Yeah.
And this is a good little watch out, there's my last name is Schnell, and in German that means fast or quick. So that's where I got my name from, QUIX. And so I probably have some kind of German heritage. I have no idea where it is from, but from my memory, everyone's just been in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Everyone's just, all my relatives and cousins and like great aunties and uncles and grandfathers and grandpas, and everyone's just been in New Zealand, so I don't really know where else my family's from except New Zealand.
How do you describe yourself back then growing up?
I was actually like a really weird child, to be honest.
Really?
I got pulled out of school when I was young.
Damn.
Because I didn't have any disabilities or anything weird. I was just like naturally a weird child, and I just couldn't really learn like the other kids. So my mum pulled me out of school when I was like 7, and she homeschooled me for about 6 years.
Wow.
And also my other 3 sisters were homeschooled as well. And then I went back to school. I did like high school, like at the age of 14, and that's kind of when I started getting into like producing and making music. And I mean, all this time, like from probably like 8, 9 years old, I was playing music, writing music, instruments like drums and guitar and bass, and trying to be in bands and stuff that never worked and never took off. But still, it was about writing music and having fun.
Yeah.
But then like, I don't know, the whole band aspect I liked it, and I liked working as a team, but it also was tough to like get the whole togetherness working and actually stepping it up. And so, I mean, I was like, well, a DJ is like one person.
Yeah.
That kind of works out to just be, on my own time and my own schedule. So that kind of worked, I guess. But
we'll go back a bit. So, like, in what ways were you like strange? Or did you just have like other interests?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I kind of skipped over that. I just couldn't learn like other kids. I was just feel like it was my creative head, and I needed to be taught in a different way. Like I feel like schools, they have like one kind of like way of teaching, and if you kind of don't fit within there, you're not gonna really do well. I feel like I was a little off to the side, and I needed to be taught my way, which was probably by drawing and visually learning,
right.
and in that sense, so when Mum took me out of school, I think it helped and kind of didn't, because when you're homeschooled, half your time is spent, a quarter of your time is spent doing work, and then the other 3/4 is spent doing what you want to do, which was mainly for me was like playing music and jumping on the trampoline and playing, riding my bike or something like that. So I had a lot of like free time, because there wasn't any of this interval with going to school, coming back to school, waking up. It meant family holidays like worked so well, because we just go like when when school was in, we'd just go on our family holiday then, and we'd get like, there'd be no one at the campground, or there'd be no one at the beach, and it'd be awesome.
How do you think being homeschooled influenced the person you are now?
I mean, I feel like being homeschooled, I definitely was sheltered a whole lot. I learned, I had my first sip of alcohol when I was like 19 or 20 or something.
Yeah.
I was very, I have no idea. When people go, oh dude, remember from like the 2000s? I have like no idea what anyone's talking about, because I kind of was like sheltered from that. But I mean, I guess Yu-Gi-Oh! And Beyblades was my like last little thing that I remember, and then anything from that. Like, I mean, I wasn't growing up on like Pokemon or like or on anything like that.
Yeah.
So when Pokemon Go came out last year, I was like, what is this? Everyone's just like getting hit by cars and stuff, and I was like, what? But
would you say it was kind of like introverted? Or did you have other people that you like hung out with?
Yeah, I did. I met some of my best friends while I was homeschooled, like, funnily enough, because you would think, oh, it's just at your home, and it doesn't, you don't see anyone. But like, we had groups on, like, we had like a Friday kind of group where everyone that was homeschooled would come and do like normal school together, and that was dope. That was really cool, because you got to meet lots of new people. Lots of weird people went though.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of weird, like, I'm like, oh, you're weird. You find your own kind of niche of people, and you'd be like, yeah, I'm sticking with the people that are normal. Yeah.
What do your parents do?
They both work at church.
Oh.
Me and my family were growing up, we were all raised in a Christian home. And my dad originally worked for a really big bicycle company called Avanti. Shepherd Industries was cool, and their main product was Avanti bikes, and so he was killing it in that scene. And then just, I don't know, like, out of crazy stuff that happened, he left that job, and he now is like the full-time general manager at our church, which is one of the biggest churches in New Zealand, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And my mom is doing like personal assistant work, like PA work for him, which is really cool. And my mom is like, obviously my dad, my dad was able to work full-time, and he killed it at college and post-grad and stuff, so he like had an awesome job to support our family while Mum taught us kids. So like I said, my sisters were also homeschooled as well with me. I was the first to go because I was the weird child, and then my sisters were like, oh, we want to be homeschooled as well, so like they came in, and then Mum taught us all. And then it was weird because we'd grown up, Mum just teaching us. Mum was always at home. Mum, didn't have a job. But then when Mum got a job, it was like, man, the house was like empty.
Oh,
It was like,
yeah.
you know, kind of has these weird vibes to it when like you're so used to something and then like where your mum's home all the time, and then I reckon I am a mama's boy a little bit.
How do you think, like, does religion still play a big part of who you are now?
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Me and my wife, we both Christians, and we go to church. We actually go to Hillsong, LA.
I went to the Hong Kong one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's they have like Sunday services at the Belasco Theatre, which is ironic because there's a lot of shows that happen there. I've been to a whole lot of shows there, and it's funny going to the Belasco Theatre for a rave, and then the next night going there for like a worship service, which is, it's totally like, plays with your head, eh? It's so funny. It's awesome though.
What is it actually like being like a Christian in the electronic scene? Like, a lot of stuff are kind of like, even with like drugs or like a lot of alcohol, and even like kind of the messages they spread. Like, what is your thought on all of that?
Yeah, like, well, as I said, I was raised in a Christian home where like nobody smoked. My parents barely drank alcohol. You know, I've had my fair share of you know, like, you know, people asking me like, oh, do you want to drink? Do you want to have some like, you know, drugs and whatnot? And it's good that it's good that I've never tried drugs before, because if somebody asks me, it's very easy for me to say no, as someone who has tried it and will say yes. It's very easy for someone to say yes to something after they've had it, which is that has addictive properties in it. So with alcohol, it's kind of just a thing that I don't drink on the road, or I have one if it's with like a whole group of my, you know, team when we're together and we're celebrating. But it's when I'm on the road, it's a no for me, because one, it's work. Like I treat my traveling and like it's work for me, and then also traveling, it's like if you're constantly drinking on the road, you're just gonna screw yourself, and you'll miss your flights, you'll become unreliable, and you'll just feel crappy all the time. It just won't work. So
how about like the electronic scene in general? Because I feel like my mom is super Christian, and she would probably just be like, if I were a musician, she'd like, why don't you just make Christian music? Like, totally. What is it? Why is it not for like praising God and stuff? Totally.
Well, I feel like my music can be. I feel like my music, you know, doesn't have to speak messages in like in a dialogue sense, but if I can make somebody happy in the sense of within secular music, and if I can write something that is, I don't know, incredible, that blesses somebody else, you know, even in my walk in my life, could be an influence, could be like an influence in theirs. And so I guess it's not so me trying to like spread a message and like smash someone over the head with a Bible or whatever, but like it's me living my life as a, you know, with good morals and positivity that I can, you know, spread onto other people.
Yeah.
Because in the end, everybody in life is just searching for happiness, and I find my happiness through God, and if I can channel that through my music, then like, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think that's cool. And then and then you were in like metal bands and stuff, and different types of bands.
I tried. I wasn't really so much in metal bands. I was like, I mean, it was like my mate's garage, and we play like Rage Against the Machine. I was always drums. I always played drums. That was my thing.
Yeah. But, how did you even find that sort of music? Did you just
like it progresses. Like, I remember first listening to like metal and thinking, oh man, people sound disgusting when they like are screaming like that, or and then I progressed into it, and you know, there would be those bands that have like kind of hybrid, where they'd have like pop singer, and then they would also have a little bit of screaming, and they would like go, oh yeah, it's like I kind of understand it, and then over time it would progress, and I'd go, oh yeah, like this is sick. And then what really got me into it was like the breakdowns, like where it would be like, you know, they would have like some vocals like rah, 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 and then be like yeah, and so like I would go to lots of no, I wouldn't go to lots. I went to a few shows, and there would be, you know, like people throwing down. There'd be like mosh pits, and I just get in there and start like throwing down, and I don't know. I found that really like fun, and then that actually like, which was cool. It actually progressed into like dubstep, and that kind of heaviness and like the drops kind of substituted for the breakdowns and whatnot. Yeah, which was sick.
Do you remember how you got from that phase into the dubstep phase?
I remember it was one song, and it was Downlink, Gamma Ray Burst. That track was the first. That was the first ever song that I listened to for dubstep. It was really good, but the main thing that got me really like psyched was when I first heard like trap music. Oh. Where it wasn't so much of a whoop whoop whoop. It was like that shoulder like bobbing, like, oh, okay. Yeah. That kind of like bass line and whatnot. And that the first song I heard of trap, the first ever, was The Flood by R.L. Grime. Oh. Yeah, I actually remember when I first ever met Henry about 3 months ago at his show in Auckland.
Oh, damn.
I asked him, I went to him and I said, man, like, your song, The Flood, got me into this kind of music. It's kind of like, I don't know, his creativity has brought me to where I am kind of today. And that's crazy to think that he's probably done that for so many people. Like, so many. And it's crazy to think that I've kind of done that with some people as well, you know? Yeah. Like, I've given people, like, a creative push to do what they want to do and make the kind of music that they're making right now, which is, and I hear about in a few messages, like, I get on, like, Facebook or Reddit, or, by the way, this is probably on Reddit right now, so shout out to my R-Trap fam. I love you guys. Yeah, but the messages that I get are so incredible, of people just saying, man, you're influencing me so much, and thank you. And it's a weird feeling to think that you're kind of like the catalyst that has like created a new creative outlet for someone. So 100%, yeah. So
what is the scene actually even like in like New Zealand in general?
It's gotten a lot better. You'd be surprised, but it's actually insane. I know the bro Kelly, Nathan, he just toured through New Zealand and sold out all 3 of his shows there. Oh, wow. Which is like, oh, that's just insane. I'm so happy for him too, because that kind of like selling out really like strengthens the scene and whatnot. Yeah. And we've got a really good bass scene. We've got like a couple of good like groups on Facebook. One of them is called Trap NZ, and it's exclusively for New Zealand trap heads. And yeah, we all like post up in that and share like who's playing when in New Zealand, and like here's some new music by this artist, or it's a really good kind of community, and it's been growing over the last like couple of years. And that's, I reckon, what's establishing a really good bass scene, or just electronic music scene within New Zealand. Because
it used to be more like band scene, right? I was like talking to Cosmos Midnight, and like bands are even popular.
Yeah, totally.
Australia, New Zealand.
Totally. I would say, yeah, go back like 10 years and like there was nothing like, you wouldn't go out and see a DJ. You would be going out to see bands play, or a singer, like an acoustic songwriter doing a thing. But yeah, you would just never see DJs going out. So like right now, there's just, every week it's like, oh yo, this DJ is headlining this club, and these are all the guys on support, go out and like support, and it's really cool, eh?
And then, so after school, what did you do, like high school?
Yeah, after school, I went to uni. I did 1 year of university, college.
In New Zealand?
In New Zealand, and that was influenced by my dad, and I tried doing a business degree, kind of following what he did, because I was super like stoked on his success. I'm like, man, if I can bring that,
he's such a big part of your life. And, like, what you want to be.
Totally. Like if he can like, you know, influence me in that sense. And I did one whole year of doing like a commerce degree that I passed. Like I was dedicated to like just passing, but I still couldn't do that because I was so like, every opportunity I had to study, I would be making music. I'd be trying to like make a song, even though no one would hear it. I don't know, like the 100 people that followed me on SoundCloud back then would hear it, or I'd show it to my friends, or
you had lots of producer friends like in your college.
Not really, but as I got into the scene more, so like after I did uni, I did then 1 year of Bible college at my church that you know, my parents work for now.
Yeah. Was that something that you wanted to do, or parents kind of wanted
No,
you to do?
I chose to do that, and it was more like, obviously I have a theology degree, but certificate. It was like a 1 year thing. Oh, crossing the road, so dangerous. Like, you're so scared in America crossing the road, even though all the pedestrians have the right of way. Yeah. In anywhere in New Zealand, Australia, pedestrians like don't have the right of way. If you get hit by a car, it's your damn fault. But I did that year, the year of Bible college, just for, just to kind of, I guess, learn about myself and get myself, like, you know, get my life skills up in a sense. You know, like learning how to communicate, learning how to be on time, learning how to, I don't know, just be better at life. And it helped. It helped so much. I like walked out like a whole different person. Wow. You know, kind of had a new perspective on life, and you know, it like helped me be a way better person. And then, so like during that, I was doing 1 day a week mowing lawns for one of my best mates' dad, and then to like put the family circle all together. And my wife is this is so confusing. My best friend's dad is my wife's uncle, who actually married us.
Wow.
So it's like a whole circle thing. Yeah, so then like during my year of Bible college, I did 1 day a week working as a lawnmower. Yeah,
I read that when you were answering the Reddit AMA.
Oh yeah.
It was still during that time you were like lawn mowing, right?
Probably.
Yeah,
I probably was.
Okay, gotta go back to lawn mowing.
Yeah, be right back. Gotta like mow some old guy's lawn. But yeah, and then after I did the year of doing the interning, I did full-time lawn mowing. And then the next year, and kind of during that full year of mowing lawns, I think it was like 2015. Yeah. That's when I started to get like shows over in Australia, where I did one of my first tours over there, and I started.
How did you even get your foot in the door, like, in general?
Sorry?
How did you get your foot in the door in general?
Well, I think it was...
Was it difficult from New Zealand?
It was a little bit. I wasn't looking in the perspective of, like, trying to get my foot in the door, though. I was just trying to, you know, make music that sounded good. I kind of wasn't really keen to... I mean, I was keen to, like, be a flipping DJ, put your hands in the air, but, like, I did not know how to get there. I didn't know the steps to do that. So, like... The fact that I, you know, was kind of waiting for that kind of was a blessing, because I wasn't really waiting to get picked up, but that was kind of a blessing because I wasn't just trying to nag people. I wasn't setting myself up for promo or whatever. I was kind of just, I want to make music that sounds good, and then if something happens, it happens.
Damn. So how did people even like find your music in general?
Well, one of the first people that found my music was a guy called, do you know Gesture? JSTJR.
Oh yeah.
His actual name's Jim. He's a good dude. He was one of the first guys that picked me up. He reposted my song. I can't even remember the song, but it got me my first 1,000 plays on SoundCloud, which was like, I screenshotted that, put up on Facebook. How
many subs did you have back then? Not so many, right?
Oh, probably like 500 maybe.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I remember I made a song, a really old song called Yellow, in brackets, Ben's Desk, because I actually made the song. I wrote the song on my mate's desk. His name's Ben. And Diplo actually had a second account called Diplo Approved.
Oh.
Diplo Approved, that account reposted that song, and it got me my first 1,000 followers, which was like huge for me.
What other turning points would you say in your career that's brought you where you are now?
Yeah, a really big one obviously was collaborating with Boombox Cuts, Supernatural.
Yeah.
That song was awesome because it came out of just pure wanting to just write music for the sake of writing music. And I tried remixing their song with Nightmare called Aftershock, and sent that to Jorge and Americo, and they were like, yo, this is actually pretty cool. Take out the stems and like let's turn it into original.
Oh.
And that's kind of where like the first drop was created.
Yeah.
And then we kept working on it because it was only just like a first drop, and that's all we had. And then we tried writing like a future-based second drop, and then far out, they killed it on the second drop and made that huge. And yeah, that song got really big just because RL Grime dropped it a couple times, and like it was at like Coachella and stuff, so a lot of people heard it. So that's one of the reasons why that song really blew up, and then took me along for the ride with it, which was such a blessing.
Would you say you found your sound pretty easily, or were you ever scared you were gonna get lost in the mix?
Like finding my sound when I was starting out producing, you saying?
Yeah.
Like, I've like tried answering this one before, but it's really hard because like when you're writing and you're trying to make music that you just love, that you're trying to make yourself love, you know, I only want to write music that makes me happy, right? And that's what you should do if you really want to make a career out of it. But I had no idea I was writing my kind of sound when I was writing my kind of sound. I had no idea that it was happening. So because I was just doing what I love, right? So I guess if you're out there and you're writing and you're trying to make something new, or you're just, instead of like trying to make the next new thing, just write what you love, and out of that will become who you are.
Yeah. And
your sound. So I don't know, that's kind of how I found my sound, is because I just wrote out of what the hell I loved, not trying to make anything new, but just trying to make something that I could show my friends and they'd be like, oh, what is
I love that. Yeah.
You know, that kind of reaction.
What is it like being married at such a young age, and especially in the music scene?
It's amazing. I wanted to get married when I was really young. Like,
really?
I wanted to get married.
I feel like that's rare for guys these days, honestly.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I'm from New Zealand. The culture that we live in over there is probably a little different over here, but
yeah.
And so getting married isn't so much of like a you know, a lot of people wait till they're quite old or in their 30s or something. I don't know. I just thought it was super dope that I found the one like that, like when I was 17, you know. And being able to marry her at 21 was
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It is weird. Just because I've met so many people over here that you must be like 30 because your beard's huge, man, and like because you're married as well. I'm like, no, I'm like 22, and they're like, what? But
what was your wedding like?
It was a winter wedding. We had it in July, but remember our seasons are different.
Right. Yeah.
And our wedding was perfect. We had the perfect weather. Out of the whole week leading up to the wedding was like thunderstorms and like brutal rain.
Yeah.
And then we had the perfect wedding by the end of it. And it was sunny.
Wow.
It was very cold at night though.
Yeah.
And we went to Melbourne for our honeymoon, and we just chilled out there.
That's so nice.
Bought clothes and drank coffee and ate food for like a week, and it was so dope. Yeah.
How did you realize she was the one?
That's a crazy question. I don't know. Everything just felt right, you know. Olivia is one of the most kindest, most generous, most amazing human beings in the whole world, and she gets me like nobody else does.
Damn.
And you know, we work so well together, and she's over here with me and in the States as well, and yeah, we just work so well together. She's got like a background in public relations and communications. Like she did her like whole like degree and whatnot in that, so we work so well together. And you know, she knew me before like I even wanted to DJ.
Yeah, that's
like,
crazy.
She knew me before my beard. Like I was like a skinny Justin Bieber haircut dude. Like yeah, so yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm so blessed to actually have her in my life, and like within, you know, her wanting to do stuff for the QUIX project, because if she hadn't stepped in, if she wanted to do her own thing, you know, I wouldn't probably be talking to you. I wouldn't be really anything. She's done so much, and she's like a big reason why like the QUIX project is doing anything really, to be honest. Yeah.
How do you think you've grown as a person since when you started?
I've gotten a lot more confident. I was very unconfident doing a lot of things. So like, you know, talking to people, putting myself out there, making calls, and you know, knowing what's right. I don't know, I felt like I've just gained a whole lot more confidence in the music industry, and just in the industry in general. Challenges of getting over here are insane. Like getting a visa over here is crazy, and you know, it was very hard. Some of the people we worked with over here were really hard to deal with and work with, and like we finally made it over here. I'm so blessed to be here.
Yeah.
So blessed to be here before DT made everything really hard to get in. But
you made it, so
yeah, I made it, you know, it's really good.
Yeah. What would you say have been your biggest struggle so far?
Like it's ironic to say, but like for a DJ, like money has just been like one of the craziest things that has like held us back from doing a few opportunities, big opportunities. And we've been super blessed by my parents helping us out and and whatnot, because you know, you know, you hear so much, oh, DJs, man, you know, they got those Vegas residencies, man, they're making dollars, they're making so much bank, and then like, yeah, we're getting on our feet, and it's tough. The whole like tax system over here is kind of killing us, but we're in a really good spot. We're super happy, and we're doing so much. Like since like the last 13 weeks I've been here, this is like my first weekend of not playing shows, so yeah, it's nice to have a little break and chill out.
Do you think you couldn't get to where you want to be, like still living in New Zealand? No way. Wow.
You need to be over here.
Whoa.
We even looked at it, like we did it in a practical sense, where like obviously the first time I came over here, like kind of during March and May, like I was over here and we were working in Hollywood with my managers, and everything was like going so fast, we were like knocking stuff out. And then when we came back to New Zealand, man, like we were on different time zones, and we were getting up and there was stuff being missed, there was stuff being like, you know, our like workflow wasn't great. And coming back and living over in America just makes things so much easier. And being able to just you know, walk down the road and see my manager and like have a face-to-face chat, and I don't know, just show emotion, and it just makes your whole like workflow and brand and project just like flow so much better. So LA's the best.
Confirmed, agreed.
Yeah, LA's the best, but I also get like sick of LA sometimes. Like sometimes there are like annoying people out on the road
for sure,
trying to sell you stuff, trying to annoy you, and I'm just I just want to live in my own bubble sometimes with me and my wife and our managers. But it's all good, you know.
Yeah. Last question, what do you want to be remembered for?
Oh man, that's such a good question. I want to just be remembered for as a genuine person who just loves and loved music, and nothing else, you know, and loved music as much as I, you know, love people and want to influence people, want to bless people, I want to make sure that everyone that goes to like my live sets just is blown away and walks out blessed, walks out like feeling like they've been, you know, they've received something, they've gotten something, you know, and they go like, wow, man, like I feel so pumped up, I feel so good about life, and I just want to, spread good vibes wherever I go.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much.
Nah, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Peace out.